Chris Godwin, due to become a free agent. Here he is talking about his next contract with our good friend Pat McAfee yesterday.
I think I'm in the same boat as like a lot of players. You want to get some long-term security. You want the team to commit to you as well. And so like I think an extension would be ideal. But at the end of the day, if the franchise is what happens, then like that's what I gotta do. You know what I mean? And then we'll revisit later. But I want to be in Tampa. But at the end of the day, I want to get paid too.
Yeah, look, you want to be in Tampa, you want to get paid. He also said, "I'm not going to do something crazy and take a little more money and go be unhappy somewhere." Well, what's the break-even point? What is it? Is it $1 million a year?
Right.
Is it $2 million a year? What this is your opportunity to make money that will take care of you and your family years into the future. Do you give up? Every guy's got to make this decision for himself. But what is the point where you say, okay, I'm going to say no to that offer and I'm going to stay here in this vague hope that somehow we can thread the needle again? Because it's easy to think when you just have won the Super Bowl, yeah, we can do it again. Well, it's not easy to do it. And it can go wrong at any given moment. And an injury changes everything. I mean, we talked about this last year with the 49ers. To get back to the point where they're up by 10 points with 7 minutes left in the Super Bowl, the easy part's finishing the job. The hard part's getting to that point. And what happens week 2? Enough injuries to derail the season. So I just think that when you start talking about compromising the financial security of your family into the future because of a hope, because of a wish, because of a roll of the dice, thinking you're just going to have the same drunken boat party that you had a couple of weeks ago, I tell you what, for me, the break-even point would be a hell of a lot lower than it would be for others.
Well,
because there's no guarantee that you're gonna ever win a Super Bowl again, no matter who you're playing with.
No, you're right. There's not that, but okay. I mean, we'll put yourself in his shoes. What is the breaking point? I mean, again, all right, we look at a guy like him. He's probably going to make somewhere between $16 to $18 million a year, right? I mean, that's about the market for that kind of wide receiver right now in the NFL. I think that's what he's going to command. So, as an ex-player, at least my thought would be, hey, you're on a great team, all of that. Yes, if they can just be, I think the sweet spot, like you're saying, is like $2 million. $2 million a year. Woo! I don't know if I can do that. Can we get into the $1.5 million? I know it's a ton of money. It's a ton of money. I know. But it's also, he's going to probably get $40 million guaranteed or something like that too. So are you willing to sacrifice, okay, like you're saying, maybe $4 or $5 million over the long term of the contract for winning games? And you're still going to make a lot of money.
It's not going to be that close. It's not going to be that close.
You don't think it'll be that close?
Not going to be. He's not going to be splitting hairs or circumcising mosquitoes, as Jerry Jones would like to say. It's not going to be that close. Someone else is going to offer him something that the Buccaneers won't even begin to come close to remotely matching in any way, shape, or form. Signing bonus, guaranteed money, whatever. It's not going to be close. It's going to be obvious when it's time to make the offers, unless they get Shaq Barrett signed before 2 weeks from yesterday and then turn and use the franchise tag on Chris Godwin, which still would give him a lot of money for 1 year, but it would prevent him from getting that generational wealth payday. That's the way that the Buccaneers would be in the game. If he hits the market, he's gone, I think, because it's not even going to be close.
Yeah, well, they have money, right? They're in a pretty good salary cap, position as far as, what is it, a little north of $28 million as far as where they are right now. They can probably find some ways to create a little bit more cap space. But you're right. As we've talked about a lot, the wide receiver position is not one you look at in Tampa Bay and go, oh my gosh, if they don't have Chris Godwin, they're depleted. They have nothing. No, they have wide receivers growing on trees there right now. They do. They have two really good tight ends. I know Gronk, I expect him to be back, so I'm saying that, as if he's going to come back. So, again, yeah, it's not a huge need for the football team, but he was homegrown. They did pick him. He is a Jason Light guy. that organizations always want to keep their guys who they've drafted and developed because, of course, it looks good on them. But I think the Shaquille Barrett situation is going to be the biggest, wrench or curveball in all of this, because you're right. I mean, he's going to get paid somewhere in that $19 to $20 million a year range if he does get a long-term contract, let alone we'll see what happens with the franchise and all that. So your logic is correct. I think more or not, that was the way I would feel too, that some team's going to come in and kind of make an offer that Tampa's not going to be able to compete with, and they're going to go, man, we got too many other guys we got to re-sign, and we're pretty good at wide receiver. We love you, Chris Godwin, but we just can't match that offer.
Let's hear from the Buccaneers as it relates to Chris Godwin. GM Jason Light on Peacock yesterday with Rich Eisen. Here's what Light had to say about Godwin.
Well, he's proven over the years since we've had him that he's a very reliable guy. He makes plays. He's a great teammate, great in the locker room, and he's been just very, very good for us. We don't want him to leave the organization by any means. So I'll just kind of give you the standard answer. I know you don't want to hear it, but we're going to do our best to make sure that Chris is a Buccaneer for a long time.
Yeah, look, they're not going to come out and say we don't want to keep him. They don't want to be blamed for him leaving. Anytime someone chases money somewhere else, you want the fan base to come to its own conclusions about whether or not the guy should have left. You don't want him to be sympathetic on the way out the door, but also that's what the individual player has to do. He is a business. He is a corporation of one, and he's the CEO, and he's got to make that decision about his family's future. And yes, there are other factors. I don't want to make it all about money, but I'd be stunned if he gets to the open market and the offers that are out there are even remotely close to what the Buccaneers are able to do. I think the offers out there are going to be a lot better. Now, this is the week where his agent would begin finding out in Indianapolis. Apparently, the teams are freaked out about having remote tampering because the cell phone devices, there's a record of the conversation.
Tracking.
You can't do the face-to-face conversations like you do in Indianapolis where it's really a free-for-all. But he'll still know. He'll know. They have that 2-day period. He'll know before he says yes or no to the Buccaneers, whatever their best offer is. He'll have a chance to know what else is out there, and I think what else is out there is going to be something he can't say no to.
Well, let's two things just real quick. Like, first off, what does Antonio Brown's situation mean for Chris Godwin, right? I would think they'd want to try to pretty much figure that out because, whoa, okay, wait, somebody offers Antonio Brown a little money, and who knows? I mean, I don't see this happening, but I'm just throwing this stuff out there. All of a sudden, he goes
Tom Brady takes the contract to Antonio Brown and says, sign this. That's what happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I imagine happening. But I guess they got to make sure they got him before you just let Chris Godwin go out the door. So that to me would be another aspect of this, because I don't think they want to let both of those guys go. And then, they're still not in horrible shape with Scotty Miller and the kid Johnson they drafted out of Minnesota, who played well in the playoffs, as you mentioned many times. So we'll see where this goes, but I'm with you. I don't expect to see Chris Godwin back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.